Hey, this is Marcus Washington here, MTC Media, here on the campus of Georgetown. Media availability today before the game with Providence. And I can tell you right now, certainly this does not feel like it felt last year. Last year, it just really felt the practices before the Providence game felt more like, very, very tense. What's it going to be like when you get up to Providence for Ed Cooley and, all some of the stuff that happened there and the vitriol that was certainly still present, still fresh from him leaving Providence to come to Georgetown. And this week feels like it's a game. Georgetown coming off a great win, an important win at Villanova, and trying to build upon that, another tough Big East road game, whereas Providence, it's been kind of up and down. They're 3-5 in the conference. You have close losses to UConn, a good win over Butler, but then getting blown out at Creighton. So it's been up and down for Kim English's crew. Important game. Georgetown 4-4 in the Big East. Providence 3-5. So you're certainly playing for something, and you all know how important and how valuable conference road wins are. So Georgetown certainly has a chance here, and guys for Providence you're going to look for Pierre, you're going to look for Pierre and Abdul Rahim, those type of Cardat, those type of guys are guys that you're going to look for Providence. Look, I spent a lot of time in Kim English's practices when he coached at George Mason. There are a few things he does differently at Providence. For the most part, I see some of that Mason stuff that I would see in his practices up there at Providence. The first 7 seconds belong to the players, and the last 7 seconds belong to the players' the shot clock, and then in the middle belongs to whatever they want to run at that time being. And why that's important is you do see Providence sometimes take some shots from unconventional angles or unexpected shots, and part of that, some of that Kim is really, really willing to live with. To be honest with you, in his philosophies, you're not going to get more offensive freedom from soup to nuts than you are going to get under Kim English, and sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes that's a bad thing. So for Georgetown, one of the things that I asked Drew Fielder about today is trying to get those rebounds when you don't know when they're coming, and they're coming from unconventional angles and stuff, and that actually benefits the offense sometimes if they are in tune to trying to get offensive rebounds. So if Providence is being aggressive on the offensive boards, that's why it's not a small thing. Some of the angles they take their shots from, and some that we would classify as bad shots, and probably are bad shots, and how they provide extra opportunities for Providence. And Georgetown, let's be frank, they've had problems. They had problems with Villanova with second shots. They've had problems giving up second shots. So all of those things are important. But what I wanted to do is give you guys today's interviews here at Georgetown at our media availability.
Start with Patrick.
Let's just kind of start with how did Jaden and Thomas come through on Monday?
They were a little sore after the game. We didn't have an aggressive practice yesterday. We'll see how they move around today a little bit. But I expect them to be a little bit better, as we had a light day yesterday. It was more us scout yesterday, cleaning up some of the stuff we have to clean up, in particular our rebounding and our shot selection.
The way Malik went through the day on Monday, shots were not falling, but also no turnovers in 34 minutes. Did you consider that a fairly mature showing for him?
I really believe, I thought it showed a lot of growth and development. Like a lot of people, a lot of young men, or players in general, get frustrated when the ball's not going in the basket, and there's other ways to contribute toward winning. And I told Malik, the best players score when we need it, not when you want it. And he had the biggest basket of the game when we needed it, the three-point play that gave us an opportunity late. I thought that showed incredible maturity.
You're dialing up PED for that game winner. Is that you showing love for him and trusting him? Is that equally as important as him actually just making a shot?
I think it goes hand in hand, Ron. I think the player's got to trust you. I think, quite frankly, LaDante Hinton that was his call, right? That was LaDante's call. Jaden wanted something else, and LaDante, that was his scout, saw something in the scout, and it's something that's in our playbook. So and all that credit goes to our assistant coach, Dante Henry.
Are you still emotional about the upcoming game, about playing Providence?
You know what? No, not as emotional. I think it's always an emotional game, but I'm not emotional. I think the more we can make it about the players, the more we can make it about the game. I think making it about a coach that was there and all the negative things that comes along with it, I think it takes away from the love of the game and the love of these young men. You know, make it about the game. Everything else will play itself out.
Thank you.
And speaking of that, do you feel like this team is more prepared as you're going up there this year than last year when you went up there?
Well, last year I thought our team did a hell of a job. I mean, I thought we were right there to the, right to the 1 minute mark, right? I think we took the lead with under 3 minutes to play. Sideline out of bounds play. I believe Jaden hit a 3 in the corner of our bench, and then Devin Carter put a Superman cape on. We had 3 consecutive turnovers, and that was the game. So I thought our men were ready. This year it's just a different team. They're different. We're different. We have 14 new players. Only 2 players played in that game, Jaden and Fielder. So, you know, they'll be in for a surprise.
You spoke about rebounding, and I had asked you this earlier. They tend to take shots from unconventional angles at time, or when you're not thinking they're about to shoot the ball. Just how do they prepare to be ready to box out and do those things to rebound when you might not be expecting for a shot to go up?
I'm hoping our preparation. Is going to put us in a better mindset of it. You know, I think we gave up 13 or 14 offensive rebounds the other day to a really good offensive rebounding team. I think Providence is a really good defensive team, very good offensive rebounding team. You know, and again, when you're giving up second and third shots, it hurt us against St. John's, right? It hurt us against Marquette. We got to do a better job, you know, a one and done type deal, and that's urgency and holding our men accountable.
Who's this new big that they have? It's kind of flashing a little bit, long, athletic.
Oswin, good player, long, athletic. You know, we had a player at Boston College some years ago when I worked for Coach Skinner by the name of Sean Williams. He ended up being the first-round pick for the Nets. He's got a lot of Sean Williams. He has natural shot blocking ability, right? He runs the floor well. He's a game changer defensively, so you got to kind of game plan around that. They've done a great job with him. The young kid Mila is playing really well for them. Obviously, we know Jaden very well. We know Corey Floyd really well. You know, those are some big shot makers. They have a very, very good team, and they play great in that building.
And the roles on this team have just sort of been morphing for the last month to 6 weeks or so. Does the fact that it's constantly been on the move make it easier for guys that maybe got more time before, now that you're fully healthy, to shift back into a more secondary role?
You know, that's a chemistry thing, and that's the love these guys have to have off the court, right? So, you know, we weren't healthy for 5 or 6 weeks. And, you know, you had guys in the lineup, out the lineup, in the lineup, out the lineup, that allowed you to develop some of your young players, in particular Curtis, Caleb. That gave them opportunity to give them, I would say, confidence when they got on the floor. So again, I tell all these young men and women, you never know when your number is going to be called. You got to be prepared to go in and contribute toward winning, because everybody thinks winning is about scoring. No, the final score will be the final score, but how are you helping toward that bottom line? And if you're giving energy, you're giving toughness, you're rebounding, you're an extra effort guy, you're an assist person, you can make a free throw, then you'll gain the trust of your teammates more than your coach.
And you were talking about roles, like Burks was out there late crunch time. I know
Sure.
you wanted to go smaller there.
Sure.
Just what did you think of how he was able to handle those kind of moments? Because that's not something that we've seen.
Things I saw in practice. And again, I thought it was, what game was it? It was I'm trying to remember the game it was. It was late in the game, and he had a big block in the corner on his closeout. So, you know, you can't make up for length. You know, length, you know, you're either blessed with it or you're not. And he's really blessed with the length. So that's, you know, you gotta watch practice. You know, so many times everybody thinks you coach in a game. No, you coach in practice. You manage a game. If you're coaching at the game, you're in trouble. You better manage the game. Coaching is done here. Management is done when the big lights are on.
Coach, this team's towards the end of the year. Doug, you mentioned about practice and this team really starting to get their legs. How do you instill them staying focused, especially as the games get bigger and the season gets later?
I mean, I think every game is big. I think we know what we're trying to play for, right? We're trying to build. We're trying to continue to grow. There's still opportunities out there. The league is very, very tough. And again, if we stay healthy, we feel we're one of the more competitive teams in the Big East. When you look at, where the standings are, and again, St. John's is having an incredible year. Look how many games they've won in the last minute of the game, last second of the game. And again, their 3 losses are by a combined 5 points. So they're very, very competitive. But when you look at that, everybody's been right there. Whether you played Marquette, you played, Villanova, you played, it doesn't matter. You're going to be right there. You make free throws, don't turn it over, and rebound the ball. And that's where we are right now. When we're healthy and at full strength, we're as good as anybody in the Big East.
Have you had a team that has improved this much defensively from maybe the start of the season? So you guys now are really strapping up.
I would say it's one of our better defensive teams, but what makes them so unique defensively is our preparation. It's one of the most prepared teams with respect to scouting that I've coached in a long time, to be this young and for them to pick it up. So that gives me hope for where we're trying to take the program. If you defend and rebound and you're gritty, you're going to give yourself a chance every night. Obviously, we're giving ourselves a chance because we haven't scored 70 points in God knows how long. So, but we're also holding teams under that. So it's giving us a chance, but it's a lot of pressure on our defense.
Saw that Julius was out of the boot the other day.
Yep.
Is he coming along as well as you could expect?
As well as he can be, and again, him coming out the boot's just one thing. It's another 5 or 6 weeks before he's able to do much. He's doing a lot of conditioning in the weight room with Coach White. It's going to be interesting. I don't foresee that being an option for us later in the season, and you never want to hurt the kid, right? You want to bring him back and do what? What's he going to play, 4 or 5 minutes? So you don't want to use an eligibility year when he has a medical redshirt year that he can apply for if he needs it. It is our hope that he's not going to need that and become an NBA player.
You've mentioned a couple times now about not getting to the 70-point benchmark in a while. What do you think is behind that? Is it just simply you haven't had the team fully healthy, or is it something else?
No, I think it's, we've missed many layups. We're missing free throws. We're not making the extra pass. In the second half the other day, I think we had 10 assists. First half, we had 3 or 4 assists. Like, if you're north of 14 to 18 assists, you should get to 70 points. But again, we missed 4 or 5 just point-blank layups. They capitalize on that. But, that's youth. That's an experience. That's being on the road. For the last game. Hopefully this game it's a little bit different. But you're going to play against a really good defensive team. Kim does a great job with his defensive scheme.
Any questions for Coach?
I appreciate
Just going to make them up real fast.
Very cool.
Any questions?
That works. Thank you.
How different was it to be back to as full of strength as you're going to be, probably?
It was fun. We always want everybody to be healthy, so we had our whole team, so it felt good to have everybody out.
I know you had a couple respites there in the second half. Haven't seen that very much lately. Did that make a difference for you playing?
I think so. I feel like I always have a lot of energy, but it was good, and I was in foul trouble, and everybody was on the floor, was playing well. We went on a run, got a lot of stops. Coaches asked if I wanted to go in. I was like, nah, let them play. They're doing good right now. So, like I said, I had a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm. What's it like being able to guard for 5 possessions someone's point guard, but then guard someone's big 5 possessions later? How do you shift it, and how do you prepare yourself for the differences between what players can and cannot do?
Honestly, I just guard how I guard. I'm very aggressive, and I just get into somebody. I don't let them get to their spots. It's like Dixon, for example. I just got all the way inside of him. I know if he has space, he can shoot the ball, or he's strong enough to back people down. So you don't let him put the ball down, or you don't let him catch it. So like I said, I guard everybody the same.
And walk kind of like back through the final play where you get the teardrop. What did you see And how did you know to go immediately in a straight line?
Well, the coaches dialed up a play for me to get an ISO to score at. I knew what the defender had on him. I knew I was stronger than him, so I knew I could bump him a little bit to get some space to get the shot up. And yeah, I went in. That's all I can say.
How does that confidence make you feel? They called your number, nobody else.
Yeah, it felt great. I haven't had that in college before, so that's my first game winner for real.
Oh, really?
In college.
Okay.
Not overall. It felt good though.
Okay. What do you see out of these Providence guys? What do you see out of them?
They really like to shoot the ball fast, so we just got to get back in transition. I think that's what we have on every game. We're going to do that this year.
Do you think your size could be an advantage against a relatively smaller team?
I think so. I think my size is an advantage versus a lot of teams because I play the guard spot, and a lot of guys at the guard spot are smaller than me, so I try to use my size versus everybody.
What's it like gonna be like in that for the fans and all the excitement?
I think it's gonna be fun. You know the history they have with Coach Cooley, Coach Buck, and the guys talk about how crazy it is at Providence, and I see on Twitter how crazy the Providence is. So I'm just ready to play in that environment.
Do you feel like it kind of like brings you up a notch, being in that kind of hostile environment?
I mean, I like to say I take everything the same way. But yeah, everybody likes to compete in those type of environments. Packed house, they're going to be against us. I love the way you get to prove everybody wrong.
What did you think of the way Malik went about his business the other day? Because it wasn't a great shooting day, but there were also no turnovers and a lot of good decisions overall.
I think it showed just maturity. There's a lot of guys, younger guys, when they're missing all these shots, they wouldn't be able to take that last, be aggressive at the end and attack the basket. But if you know Malik, you know he's the most confident guy in the world. I knew he was going to do it. I knew he wasn't going to stop shooting either. He believes in himself. Well, we need him to do that. You can't have anybody out there being so passive because it affects our offense. So yeah, that's what we need.
And how do you manage? You've been in foul trouble some this year in certain games. How do you make sure that doesn't take away? You talked about earlier, you guard the way you guard. How do you make sure that doesn't take away from who you are?
Once they start calling touch fouls, I like to talk to the refs and ask them what I have to do so I can be still aggressive but not be in foul trouble. So it's a lot of just communication and me being smart with my hands. So I like to get a little handsy sometimes, but when I get those fouls, I have to back off a little bit.
What'd your pop say about the game winner, if anything?
He said that's what I do.
We're gonna have Jamie come in and take some questions.
All right, thank you.
You guys got to back to full health as you're going to be at this point. How much of a difference has that made for you guys this week, just kind of having everybody back in full?
I mean, huge difference. I feel like we're playing as different teams. We got one guy out, one guy back, another guy out, two guys out. So it's just good to have everybody together, everybody at full strength. I feel like we're just such a different team. I think our potential is unlimited when we're all playing together. Everyone's locked in, so no, it's really, really important.
For you guys, how much does a victory like Monday against a team that's obviously had a lot of success against you guys for a long time, what sort of potential impact does that have for you guys going forward?
I mean, it felt good. We needed it. We came at the right time. That's more momentum we're building, more confidence that we're building, and let's just start. We got a lot more games to finish. We got our eyes set on bigger goals. So we just got to keep going, learn from it. Learn from the wins, learn from the losses. But that's not the goal.
When you're looking at the backside of y'all's diamond defense, and you see them trapping, what does it look like to you? Because it's looking really good. It's becoming very impressive. What do you see when you go into diamond?
Yeah, I'm just hoping for a turnover. No, I'm just making sure everything stays in front of me, making sure I'm ready to run down the court if we do get a turnover. So I really like it. I really like the energy we get from it. And I think just with our speed and our versatility in our backcourt is just important. Just applying that pressure, trying to force turnovers in transition, stuff like that. So
Providence, have you looked at them at all yet?
yeah.
What do you see?
We had that one circled up.
Oh, okay.
For sure. Yeah.
What do you see out of those guys?
they're pretty versatile. They got a good young big. They got some shooters on the floor. They got a dynamic point guard. I think we can come in there and handle business. It's gonna be a hostile environment. It's gonna be fun.
That big kind of jumped on the scene on everybody, but I hadn't seen him before. Talk about his game.
He's long, athletic. Seems like shot blocker, dunk stuff. So we just gotta box him out. Make sure we're helping the correct way. Just being smart, being physical, staying on his body. Be all good. We played against some pretty big time bigs. It's about physicality, just awareness, not falling asleep, not letting duck your hands. So just gotta be smart. Be on the other end, be on the backside for offensive rebounds, trying to block stuff. So that's where I can.
Thank you.
And at times they try to play fast, and they'll take some unconventional shots from some unconventional angles. As a rebounder, how do you always stay prepared to do your job on the boards when you have a team there that has guys who will take a shot when you least expect them to take a shot?
I mean, you just gotta know the angles, know the percentages, knowing that most of the time it's coming long. And I think it's about doing your work early too. Make sure you're in position, make sure you're ready to get to the other angle, get to the other side, getting ready to shed the box out. It's going to be a war. It's going to be a war, especially going into that environment at Providence. It's going to be a dogfight. So just gotta. It just comes down to a battle. This is really a battle. So you gotta outman him, push him around a little bit, try not to get too many foul calls. Yeah.
Interesting you bring up the environment. What was that going through that like last year, especially given everything that was surrounding that game?
I mean, it's pretty cool. Just removing myself from it and my relationship with Coach, it's pretty cool. It's pretty legendary. I mean, there's not too many times like this where you get a real heated rivalry with some it's just fun. The way the fans are so invested into it and stuff, chirping, and it just makes it really fun. I remember last year we chirped in the earliest part of our warm-ups. There were some guys already in the courtside. I was like, y'all started early. But no.
And that was a 12:30 tip,
I know,
too.
yeah. So, no, it's just exciting. It feels good to feel good to get that win.
Have their players bought into that hatred as well?
I don't know about hatred. I haven't talked to anyone. I remember last year, my point guard, Garway, from high school, so then it was a little more personal. I haven't talked to any of the guys. I know that there's some coaches, old players on the team still. So I'm sure there might be some type of something there, but I haven't heard anything from them. But I know regardless of any personal feelings that it's going to be a war. It's just gonna be a war.
This team has been playing so much, a lot of improvement from last year going into this year. As you look towards the back half of the schedule, just what's important for the team to remember as you guys go into a lot of improvement, especially for postseason play?
You just got to really focus on playing together and taking the rocks. And make sure we're being as physical as possible on rebounds. I think if we can secure the rebound, take care of the ball, and just play the way we can play on offense, there's nothing that can stop us from winning. So we just got to, the biggest thing is taking care of the rocks.
Any other questions? Hey, sure.
Thank you, Drew. Appreciate it.
You wanna?
How are you feeling?
Feeling good.
What has the last month or so been like trying to navigate about this?
It's been a lot. Just trying to read my body and know what's right for me. When I'm able to come back and be 100% help the team.
Has it been, this false start against Xavier and then again against St. John's? I mean, how frustrating was it to kind of get yourself back and then have a setback, get yourself back, have another setback?
It was frustrating, but Coach told me to stay in there. It's a long season. We got a lot of games to play, so stay in the course, keep doing my rehab and what the trainers tell me to do, and I feel like I'll be good.
Second half, you got in what I call Epps mode. You were searching for buckets. Talk about that. Did they need you to do that? Did you just feel it? How did that evolve?
I felt like that's what the game was called for. I was just trying to do what the game told me to do. I got my opportunities, I got my looks, I just got them.
How would you grade your performance overall?
I feel like I played okay. I was doing improving things. I played a full game in like a month. So I'm just getting back in the groove of things, trying to figure things out.
I'm excited to see our Providence.
It's exciting. It's always good to play on the road against a crowd like that, against an environment like that. I love it. It gives you goosebumps at the end of the day. Everybody's there to see the show. So,
We had the game Saturday, and as the season goes on, a lot of big games, especially in the postseason competitions. Just how's the team staying focused? How's the team zeroing in?
we're just taking it one game at a time. We know we're taking one game at a time and doing what we're supposed to do. We got a chance to do something special. We always believe that we can do that. So just taking it one game at a time.
What do you think about Providence? What do you see when you review them? What do you see?
I see they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of shooters as well. They're a good team. They're a well put together team. They're well coached. And I feel like they're a pretty good overall team. I feel like we have to lock into our principles, lock into our scouting reports, and I feel like we'll be fine.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, man.
Bye.
Georgetown at Providence on Saturday, 12:30. Nice early tip. At least it's nice and early tip for me, as I will be at UVA later that evening. But definitely tune in. It is a Fox game, and later in the week I will give you my keys to victory for Georgetown. This is Marcus Washington, MTC Media.